Hello everybody, it's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Thank you guys so much for joining me for a new simple stamping video. Today's card is actually a flashcard 2.0. I know many of you have fallen in love with the flashcard system, and today's card is really a lot of fun. We have just a little extra flap. It's got a little fancy to it. Guys, we're going to do a little bit of fussy cutting too. Very elegant birthday card. I think you're going to like what I have to share. And if you like to step things up a little bit, I have a really nice stepped up version of today's card. So for those of you that like something a little extra special, be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video, and I'll be sharing with you some tips on how I created this card. Let's go over the cardstock you need to create today's flashcard 2.0. My card base today is in soft seafoam, my new favorite green. I have this cut at 8.5 by 5.5. And then I have it scored at 1 inch and 4 1/4 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this little accordion fold. Our flashcard 2.0 pieces are in Pool Party and Very Vanilla. The Pool Party is cut 2 1/8 inch by 5.5 inches. My Very Vanilla is cut 2 inches by 5 3/8. And you can see that nest right inside there. But we're going to do some cutting. Let's chop this up just a little bit. I'll begin with the Pool Party, and I want to cut it down to 1 inch. So I'm going to cut 1 inch by 5.5 inches. On my Very Vanilla, we're going to cut it down to 1/2 inch by 5 3/8. We're going to use that. This remaining piece, we're going to cut down to 3 inches, and we'll be using those pieces as well. The star of the show today is the Botanical Bliss stamp set. I love stamp sets that give me images and sentiments because I get more bang for my buck that way. This is definitely one of those stamp sets because I have great images, and then I have 5 great sentiments as well. I'll be using 2 ink pad colors today, Soft Seafoam and Pool Party. I will be showing you the stepped up version of the card. And for that one, I'm also going to bring in Sahara Sand. So if you want to step it up a little bit, we'll be using the Sahara Sand ink pad as well. Let's get to stamping. I'll start with my Soft Seafoam green, and then we have this really great vine in this stamp set. I'm going to ink this up. So I want to stamp here on this panel, this little 1 inch panel that's off to the side. And you notice it's not going to be long enough. Not a problem. We will come in and finish that off. I'm going to take my chamois. I want to clean that stamp because we're going to stamp in a new color. Now you notice we have a larger and a smaller piece. I'm going to work with the smaller one, and I'm going to do that exact same thing. I'm going to ink up my vine, and we're going to stamp that right here down that Pool Party. Now for this remaining one, I've got a really great image with a vine and some flowers, and I'm going to ink this up in Pool Party, and I'm going to stamp at an angle. I'm going to rotate this, bring it down, and I'm just going to kind of keep coming back and forth, just like so. I'll set those off to the side so I can work on these remaining 2 pieces. So let's work on this longer one first. I'm going to ink up Happy Birthday in the Soft Seafoam, and I'm going to stamp that right over here to the right-hand side. Then I'm going to bring in this flower, this really great flower, and I'm going to stamp it here, and then I'll stamp again about right there. Don't worry about that. We're going to cover it, and I'm going to take this remaining piece, stamp that flower right in the middle. The flower that we stamped on the little scrap, I'm just going to fussy cut that with my scissors. And if you are not big into fussy cutting, you can skip this. I just think it adds a nice little accent. And I know many of you find fussy cutting very relaxing. It's a very simple image to cut out. I'm going to share my tip with you, and that is rotate the cardstock, not your scissors. If you keep your scissors stable, and you notice I'm only moving the cardstock, I just find I get a really good image. All right, it's time to put the card together. So I'm going to start with this strip that we have, and I'm going to take some of my snail adhesive and just put it right here along this edge. And what I want to do, you notice it is not exactly the 5.5. Remember, it's 5 3/8, so it won't fit perfect. But you can see we're going to add that. Just, it kind of adds a nice little accent. Now I can take this and adhere that down. All right, so that's going to kind of give us that little decor. We're going to take our vine image and we're going to adhere it right here on the side. Again, this is what's going to kind of make the inside of our card look nice. We'll now take that remaining piece that we stamped the other little vine with the flowers, and I'm going to leave myself, just a hair of the soft sea foam showing right there. So we can add that. It's now time to add our sentiment. Now, this is going to hang off. So I don't want adhesive here on the end. So I always like to just kind of flip it over. It gives me a visual of where to put my adhesive because I don't want it right there. So we can now flip that over, add that to our card. Our focal image here, we can add it flat, but if you do like to add Stampin' Dimensionals, you're welcome to add a Stampin' Dimensional to this one as well. You can see it's a simple little addition, but the dimensional does make a nice difference. Now, great card. What if you want to step it up a notch? I want to share with you how I created the card this way. So on my stamping, I chose Sahara Sand. I'll stamp my happy birthday. Those flowers, remember how we did that? We're going to do it the exact same way. And one there on the scrap. I love to color with Stampin' Blends. They are by far my favorite marker because they blend so nicely. I've got the combo of light and dark in Pool Party, the combo of light and dark in Mint Macaron. And so my tips on coloring, I'm going to start with the dark Pool Party, and I'm going to use the little fine tip. I'll show you on this flower here. We're going to repeat it on this as well. But I'm going to take these center little things. I don't know what those are called, just little accents here in the middle. And I'm going to color those in with my dark marker. If you go outside the line, don't worry about it. It really is fine. Now, these little edges here, I'm going to get those in the dark color as well. Don't worry, we'll be blending it. That's the reason they're called Stampin' Blends. I'll now come in with my light Pool Party, and I'm going to use the brush tip this time. And you notice I'm just swirling my color on, and do you see how it blends? The dark really just kind of blends right in, makes just a beautiful focal image. For my petals, I'm just going to draw with the dark Mint Macaron and blend with the light. And you notice it just kind of gives me some nice little shading. I'm going to repeat that same thing here on these flowers. Now for this, I really wanted to dress it up. So I have our gold metallic edge ribbon, and this is in the vanilla. And we're just going to tie it in this section right here. I'm just going to tie it in a square knot. And then I added my image right over it. You can see I fussy cut. I also came in with some of our adhesive back pearls. I think these just gave it that really nice extra touch, optional, but look at that little pearl there in the center and a few up the vine just makes for a very elegant card. So whether you like to keep it simple or you like to step it up a notch or two, this is a birthday card that is sure to make somebody smile. Thank you guys so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you enjoyed both versions of the card. It's always nice to have some options if you want to step it up a little bit more. And there are just a few little additions. Just adding those Stampin' Blends makes such a difference, doesn't it? Well, listen, if you want to see more information about today's cards, maybe you need to catch those measurements. There were a few little slices in there, weren't there? You can head over to simplysimplestamping.com. Look for the May 18th, 2019 blog post. That's where I'll have all the details about the card. And if you'd like to order any of the supplies you need to create the card, maybe you're ready to get that Botanical Bliss stamp set or start investing in those Stampin' Blends, you can just click a pic. Just look right there on the blog post. You're going to see a complete supply list with all the photos. Click a pic. It's going to take you right to my online store and you can order what you need. Hey, if you love the idea behind flashcards and flashcard 2.0, but cutting is not your thing, how about flashcards to go? I know many of you have really enjoyed having all your cardstock cut and scored, the envelopes, everything you need. It's all ready with flashcards to go. To hear more about that, head over to simplysimplestamping.com. Look in the blue menu bar for flashcards to go. Pick your favorite color family and we'll have it shipped right out to you, and you will be creating in no time. That's it for me today, my friends. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you learned something new and that you were inspired by today's card. If you were, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I always appreciate that. And hey, if you haven't already become a subscriber of my channel, just click that big red subscribe button and get notifications whenever I'm back with a new video. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. Make it a fabulous day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.